Do. 1 second. We are just in the middle of getting set up. Good to see you all again today. Finally resuming Xenoblade Chronicles. Yep, we are live on a couple of places. Might have some of our friendly little players come in. And yep, we are doing good. Okie dokie, let's dive into it. Today we are checking out Colony 6. Or, for those of you who have not been destroyed by the mind rot, that is the YTP of Xenoblade Chronicles. Colony 6. We have completed all of the side quests on the Bionis Lake. And now it is time to save Juju. Is there a fast travel location? Yep. Let's switch ears for that. Or maybe just. Okay. Desktop audio is muted, so for the players join in if they so choose. Hello, random viewer. How are you doing? Good to see ya. My name is Matt. People call me the Leviathan Devil. They do not have a choice in the matter. They call me that. It is not a term of endearment. Well, I mean, I guess it is. It's a nickname. So, what brings you to the wonderful, wonderful world that is the Wonderful Ice Piece Project's official streaming channel? Nope, that's the right way. So, it is not my first time playing Xenoblade Chronicles. That is not the case. I am currently live on both Twitch and YouTube, with YouTube being the primary thing. But I swear this is... Where... It's been a while since I've... Oh, it's there. I would explain that. That is a boss for a later date. So it brings you to the wonderful, wonderful world of Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, not all at once. I mean, technically it will be all at once or nothing. We only got the one, but thank you for your patronage. And let's see. So, I'm pretty sure the Collectopedia is not complete, but it is by far going to be much easier to finish that towards the end of the run, because a lot of Collectopedia stuff is in places where you generally don't want to go at lower levels, so... yes. By the way, is the... I have a feeling the music's too quiet. Okay. That should be better. Yep, just a chill stream today while we, head towards Colony 6 at the very least. Little loading. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's raining.
This is Colony 6. It's like a fortress. Did people really live here?
So much has changed. It's only been a month.
We'll find Juju and then smash some metal.
Wait! We can't just rush in.
We could enter through the mine.
Mine?
There's a massive ether deposit under the colony. The first settlers here built right on top of the mine. That's how we got our colony. The mine is like a network of tunnels. It's much more complicated than the colony streets. They can't have figured it all out in the space of a month.
So...
She means it's the best route if we want to remain unseen.
You're catching on.
Great. So how do we get in?
Through the drainage outlet. It's just up ahead.
How long might we stream? I don't know. Depends upon if the Zord fight goes easier than my first time through. Because my first time through, I barely did any of the side quests. Which was a bad decision, because the side quests are making it much easier for all these fights. Not like, you know, steamrolling them easy, but doable. Which I guess is always the case with Xenoblade games, but I've never really been a fan of some of the side quests in some games. Yeah, that was my first mistake the first time I did it. Don't get me wrong, some Xenoblade games I've really gotten into the side quest. Like, my favorite of those side quests to have gotten into, I am a huge fan of the side quests in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Just because of how wacky some of them will get. And I'm not that big of a fan of Xenoblade 2, because it's just, when you're so used to all these buttons to push, it is a little it can be a hard change to get used to how slow it starts off. it is better the further you get into it, but just the slow start can be, you know, like, yeah, 3, I've played a bit of 3, but I'm holding off for going anywhere further till I complete my 100% of this. That's sort of what I'm in the middle of doing.
Okay, let's get going.
And I am really having fun with, you know, the replay of this with all the side quests being done. Don't get me wrong, the story is always still great, regardless of how much effort you put into playing things the right way, but being able to steamroll through enemies is pretty nice. But 3, yes, 3's combat is sort of that nice mixture between 1 and 2. I still would prefer to have more buttons to push, but I understand that that is a bit daunting, especially when you are dealing with, you know, newer players. And I think the reason they went with the simpler combat in 2 was because they had a feeling, oh, everyone's waiting, you know, this could be our golden moment to get that all set up. And you know what? They're not entirely wrong. 2 sold incredibly well, so they did the right thing, I guess, for the whole audience. But there's something wonderful about this combat system, and I do think this is the second best combat system in the series, because X is my favorite game, not just in the series, but of all time. And if you haven't played Xenoblade X, I would recommend it if it ever does get a port to any more new console. Like, we've been waiting... Yeah, that's true. So, my background is I got really into MMOs, so... and one of the ways that, like, I guess a good way of this... I got really into World of Warcraft, and one of the reasons why a lot of people who came back for, like, the Demon Slayer back in the day, or Demon Hunter back in the day, quit is because their main filler button got replaced with the auto attack. So there are basically 2 schools of thought when it comes to the various combat mechanics, and probably the best combat mechanics to someone like me are the ones with all these multiple buttons. I do know it can be a bit daunting, but then there's... Shulk isn't my favorite character in the combat. My favorite character combat-wise, I'm really a fan of doing anything with Dunban. So many different builds, but just the ability to deal all that damage and not get hit is a huge green flag for a good, fun class to play. And I'm also used to tanking in MMOs, so having the Rein, Dunban are very fond. I do know the generally, oh, here's what the good lineups for these fights are. I didn't use them the first time around, but now I know a bit better. And I am probably going to get lost a couple of times, because I, you know, watching the chat, but sometimes I forget to look over at my TV, which is over this way. And there it is. Let's see, we've got, that's 2 ambivalent turtles. Yeah, Melia is another example of that. Like, Melia is a really, really good character when it comes to if you know how to use them. Another one of my mistakes in my first playthrough, this was on the 3DS port, just to give you an idea, is I would not pay attention to the thing where it's saying, oh, hey, you should play a character this way. And now I know how the characters work, so I will not be having any problems like that going forward. But you can imagine Melia is definitely one of those high ceiling, low floor type characters. And, you know, it was one of those experiences where I barely made it through that cave with just Melia. But now I know better, and knowing how to battle.
Let's keep on going like this, guys.
Who else wants some?
Dude, I'm not really interested in any promotions. no offense, but I'm just streaming to multiple things because it's a bit easier to keep engagement going on Twitch. So YouTube has been my main thing. I've been running a tabletop campaign on over there, and it's been pretty fun. But over the break, I've been expanding into other streams. So, but yes, Melia is just, if you know what you're doing, it's an easy as Kill. So, I guess I can go on a tangent about Melia, but just as a little... we'll do that later when we actually get her. Don't want to spoil too much of the fun that's about to be had in the next couple of chapters. I forgot they divided this game up into chapters. Not on merchants, oh right. No change there. I don't think I'll be partaking in any of those.
Guys, kill the noise.
A Macon.
I can't believe they've taken the mine too. That means the defense force and residents are... Oh no, Juju!
Keep it together, Sharla. Don't stop panicking.
I'll give you that.
Rhine!
You said yourself, they can't have seized the entire area, right? I bet you they're holed up someplace safe. Juju is alive, and we're gonna find him.
That's why we're here. You can count on us.
Yeah, yes, it'll be fine. Rhine, Shulk, thank you.
Okie dokie. Gonna turn this down again. So, you're saying... So, I mean, One's combat is very notorious for being very intense. Like, I forgot to enchant there, that's gonna set us back a bit. You gotta admit, Ryan has the best one-liners you can think of.
We make a great team.
Oh look, Crabble. Good to see those. I also missed the Collectopedia, if I'm being honest with you. That's not in 3, at least not that I found.
An ether rifle. Gaddo!
Sharla, wait!
Gaddo!
I know that voice. Medic, is that you?
Otharon!
That's our cue, Ryan.
Oh yeah!
Oh, that wasn't this.
My rifles are getting hotter.
Let's keep up the pressure.
Looks like we don't need one
I'm really feeling that. Everyone, let's go. Easy there, Ryan. All right, do it. You're really getting into this, Ryan. Now it's done. All right, I'm feeling it.
Medic, why are you here?
Sir, isn't Gaddo with you?
We have much to discuss. You'd better come with me.
Sir.
So, Juju has been taken by the Bronze-Faced One.
Sir, what about Gaddo?
Gaddo is gone.
Gone? What do you mean, gone?
Gaddo and I planned a surprise attack to set everyone free.
I do like the updated graphics a bit.
But we failed. Miserably. When I woke, Gaddo was nowhere to be seen. Only his rifle remained. But he is alive. I can feel it. We may not be joined by blood, but he's like a son to me. I'd know if he were dead.
Oh,
Some of the people in Colony 9 got eaten.
Ryan.
Sorry. I forget I said that.
They don't kill Homs right away. If that Bronze-Faced One took him, we still have some time left.
Are you sure?
Boy, that blade was once Dunban's. I'm not sure why you have it, but we're going to need its full power.
You can count on me.
We're heading for the central pit. It's where they take all the Homs they kidnap. If Juju's alive, that's where he'll be. Gather your things, we're moving out. Juju! Gaddo! This is for you!
What? What?
You say something, Shulk?
No. It's nothing. Forget it.
You know, this is one of those things that never quite made sense to me. Shulk has this habit of learning the lesson to tell people about what he sees, and then unlearning the lesson and learning it again. It's like Usopp and learning to be brave, if you've ever seen anything One Piece related. Oh, right.
Alley-oop. Hurry it up, slow coach.
What's wrong?
Jojo! Gato! This is for you!
What can it mean? This is for you. Is Juju already dead? Or is he going to be killed? Is that why Atharon... But then, what does that mean?
I couldn't tell you, Shulk.
Is Atharon really going to die?
No! What's wrong, Shulk?
This battle is for my people. If you can't handle it, drop that weapon and head home.
That's not it.
Hello, Kade. Nice to meet ya. My name is Matt. People call me the Leviathan Devil. There's cutscene going on. I'm sorry for talking over it, but hello.
I think we should observe them and plan our attack afterwards.
Is there anything about this game franchise you'd like to share, Kade?
You don't know a damn thing about these machines. I have observed their movements. I've planned this attack for a month.
So,
I know
this game is one of my favorite games of all time.
We're going.
I can highly recommend it. The one thing about this is the combat is... It's a little more complicated than other games in the franchise, however, it is high reward, low risk. It just takes a while to get into.
Doesn't just chicken out for any old reason.
Oh, you haven't explored JRPGs before? My two big things I'd mention about this, yes, it's a very good JRPG. It's a good introduction, has a great story, great soundtrack, especially towards the back half of the game. But it is one of those things where I'd read any, like, little tutorials they give you, just because it's going to be one of those things where, you know, you're gonna want to know a bit about the various parts of the system. My big mistake when I this the first time is I didn't read the little tutorials, so if you go to Intro JRPG, because they give you all the tutorials to read, which a lot of the others don't.
Whatever vision you don't like, we'll change the future together. Got it?
Got it.
What was that? Say it like you mean it.
I got it, all right. Next time I'll tell you.
He's right, Shulk. You two saved Juju once before. I know we can do it again. I believe in you.
Thanks. They're right. We'll change what happens. Anyway, I didn't see Juju and the others.
Yes, definitely, because 1, 2, and 3 are all connected. Personally, 3... So, starting off with this one, the combat is a bit quicker and a bit more nuanced, so, like,
Don't let a single one escape.
it is sort of MMO-like if you... yeah, the system... So, systems don't really build off each other from game to game. However, knowing one system can help you with other parts of others, so, like, Topple, Break, and Days are the ones for this one. And then, it's usually Topple, Break, and Launch for 2 and 3. There are different mechanics to this one, such as there's a mechanic in this called Stun Locking, where you can topple and stun opponents basically for entire fights if you do it correctly. But that is more late game stuff, so you'll get used to all the various mechanics before any of this comes relevant. And like I said, they'll teach you everything. Each game they do it, so, but like lore-wise, it is really important for... Oh, here's another mechanic. I'm not going to use this to the fullest here, but Basically, chain attacks are one of the most amazing mechanics in this. So they are in 2 and 3, I believe, but the difference between these ones and the ones in 2 and 3 are these chain attacks are very... You can do a lot of different things with them. Remember to do gem crafting and remember to loot every box because every box has some little stuff when it comes to gem crafting. Doing all the side quests, not only are the side quests really fun in this game, but they will help you get through some of the worst elements of some of the harder fights, because having those extra levels can make a fight much easier. Not like to the point where it's like face roll easy or anything, but generally speaking, it is very good. If you ever get stuck, Chugga Conroy did a playthrough on this, and he's also a very good source of information for this. Also, positioning is sort of important, but if you've ever played like an MMO, you know basically the gist of it. Ability will explain where you should position yourself for max damage, blah blah blah. It's not exactly obvious to know what to keep around. But I wouldn't necessarily say you live as a hoarder. There are going to be generally... So, there's not like a massive... There's not like a max inventory space, right? So, like, living as a hoarder in these is not that bad of an idea. There's also these little things here, the little blue dots. There's this Collectopedia page, and I would make sure to fill out as much of this as you can as you're going through a Xenoblade game that has it, because you'll get things like, you know, gems there. And completing the whole Collectopedia also gets you stuff. It's not quite like Zelda, like, where you have either a max item limit or like a max rupee limit. I mean, there's a max money limit, but you probably aren't getting up that high. And, you know, generally speaking, you'll go to craft gems, and you'll be looking for particular gems for particular characters, but early on, it's not the biggest thing. Yeah, so... It's not like an open world game where there's a lot of places where you can go and get lost. The journey is very straightforward, and there is a lot of various ways you can find out where to go next without spoiling yourself too much or with spoiling yourself. Like, for instance, this is Colony 6. There's a very strong YouTube poop community around this game. It's a fun way of learning more about the game's lore, ironically enough. Not that the game does a bad job of explaining it itself, but it's just one of those funny things where, like, you know, you'll get yourself saying Colony 6 instead of Colony 6 for some reason or another. We're... So, I'm really going to turn up the music here, because this is the main selling point, the music for it. This is You Will Know Our Name. There's a little version of this in every game, because it is this thing, like, this is Yes. And this is considered a special enemy. This theme plays on all of them. Oh, we got a vision.
Behold the power of the Monado! Backslash! Scarlet, fire it up! Powering up! No way!
Come on.
We haven't lost. This isn't going well. Alright, I'm beat! This isn't going well.
So that party is in the DLC. For I don't think the original has any DLC. I really do think it's game by game, but they're gonna pick me up.
I can still do it.
So the music is always good. It really does depend. DLC really does depend upon the story you're getting. So, like, if you find yourself being a big fan of a game's story, then the DLC is going to give you a bit more info on that story. So, like, Future Redeemed is sort of where you get a callback from the first two games. So if you really like the stories of 1 and 2, or want to see how Shulk and Rex's stories end up towards the end of the day, you should get the DLCs. But don't make that decision immediately, because there's always time.
Where are they all? I don't see anyone.
Yeah, it is just one of those things. Just hold off on
take that
buying
lift.
the DLC until you're certain
ready to
about a
mash
game's
some
combat
neck on.
mechanics. However,
Juju,
this
hold on.
one...
Just hold
This
on.
one is very much different in the fact that it's does not have DLC. The little extra thing is an extra thing that's included with it. Actually, I think they're sort of depends upon the DLC. Like Golden Country and Future Redeemed, I think, are sort of alternate stories. But they do sort of require knowledge from the game itself.
Definitely do
What am I
this!
gonna do? There's no way.
This is the Monado's power!
It really does depend upon the game. And with the, I think I could technically go into the Bottomless Shoulder before playing the game itself. But I would much rather play the main game at the moment than going into what happens after everything is over. So this one's bonus content is like after post game, but I think it's slightly separate. A lot of Xenoblade games also have New Game Plus, so there's tons of things to do with Xenoblade games even after you've beaten them. I don't think there's too many difficulty modes. I think the main difficulty modes are if you are having trouble with something, they'll offer you the ability to like get an easier difficulty. But even then, it's not that much easier, so if you're having trouble with something, I would just recommend doing more of the side quest. Because you'll get the full experience. And then New Game Plus is going to have harder challenges, of course. So, but I don't think there's like a hard difficulty or whatever. This is just normal game difficulty. So, part of the reason I don't think they have too many difficulty selections. There's a lot of history behind these games and their development. But my favorite one is this was originally supposed to be a turn-based RPG. And the reason they didn't go with that is because of the little vision mechanic. Because it's hard to they had a hard time working in the vision mechanic to turn-based, which makes sense. Because it's not just one character that can do anything, but also having the one character that can do anything is an important... I guess having... it's the game gets harder as it goes along, but if you get stronger as you go, you'll also get better as you go. So it's one of those things where it has basically one difficulty option and then mode that you can enable if you are doing particularly bad that will be less punishing. Also, I guess different party members can make things easier or harder. But Xenoblade is a game where, generally speaking, a healer is not that necessary. You have a grid for level... So, skills and abilities come naturally. There's not too much customization to the characters in this one. And same with the other two. The customization more comes down to blades in the second one, and you can choose various classes in the third for each character. But in Xenoblade, it's really different people have different abilities because they all have different roles. And you will gain levels basically just through the experience bar. You'll see it in the top left-hand corner under the level itself. And this bar in the top right corner is called the party gauge. And when that gets full, you'll have the ability to do something called the chain attack. Chain attacks are good, but they are sort of like, use them in the right moment. Generally speaking, the right moment is when everybody is alive, and when, you have, the ability to, use, so when... You'll see, like, different morale levels based upon how their faces look and whether or not they have fire going on behind them. You get longer chances at you get better chances at longer chain attacks if you do the chain attacks, when you have higher morale. Like I said, there's a lot of things about these things. You can always check out, like, again, Chuggaaconroy if you are unfamiliar with him. First of all, good guy. Second of all, long-time content creator, and he was one of the first big playthroughs of these games, so. Oh, I forgot to enchant. I hope my answers have helped at least a little bit, but like as you're playing it, Chuggaaconroy is definitely a better place to go to find out what side quests are going to be better. The answer though is 100%ing it is a really fun thing. It'll take some time, but it gets you a lot of rewards and you get a lot out of it, so it's not the worst thing in the world. I think I still have a couple more levels of this to go. Unless... Oh, come on, it can't be that easy. There's another... I know there's another Okay.
The enemy's weak, but don't drop your guard. This won't take long. We got through that pretty good. Let's not lose our heads, though.
Okay, let's get going.
We can't lose.
I don't want anyone dying out there. Thanks.
Let's keep up the pressure.
My life is getting hotter.
No, we can definitely do this.
This is the last one.
Nice one, Ryan. How's that? We got through that pretty good.
We make a great team.
Who else wants some?
I'm not gonna grab those. I probably should grab those fire ether.
The enemy's weak.
Okie dokie.
Let's sort this out nice and quick.
This won't take long.
Oh yeah, let's show off the chain attack.
Yo.
Okay.
Okay, my turn. We can definitely do this. How do you like that? Nicely done. How's this? You never stood a chance.
We make a great team.
Man, what
I also think the main combat music for this section has gotten... It's made me feel a lot better about everything over the years. I've gotten to feel a lot better about it over the years, but like the real great main battle theme comes from the second half of the game. If you're curious or ever wanting to know, the name of that song is Mechanical Rhythm, and it is wonderful. I do think I'm going to have to take a break here when it reaches the hour mark. I'll definitely be back streaming something else today. Might be this, probably will be this, but it's never bad to take a bit of a break. So we are almost coming out on that. I will definitely be streaming for a bit longer because there's still a lot to do.
And as one, we're unbeatable. We can definitely do this. You never stood a chance.
Let's keep on going like this, guys.
Let's not lose our heads, though.
So, enchant is primarily what you'll be using to hit these things, but I think it gives you a slight damage boost against non-Mechon as well.
Did you see what I did?
Oh, I wasn't really looking.
Oh, come on. That's not fair. Right, let's do this. Leave it to Ryan. I'm really feeling it.
If you can get into Xenoblade Chronicles, you could probably play any JRPG.
Let's keep on going like this, guys.
Oh yeah, I guess it'll also have these little things to tell you which items are going to come up in future side quests. So
Time for a chain as we follow the power of the Monado. Here we go. This'll leave a mark. Set your edge. Yo,
yeah, and this is what the stun locking is. So like for now, it's
leave it to me.
going to be stunned to non-existence.
Definitely do this. Not bad.
Well, it would have been if it wasn't, you know, killed by that ability.
Leave it to Ryan. How good are we? Backlash.
Looks like we don't need my medical skill. Just a little more. Keep it up, everyone.
We've almost got him. Now it's right time. You never stood a chance. Good thing I'm here. No? Anyone?
Also, I will tell you, Xenoblade Chronicles is even better at foreshadowing than you might be seeing from these cutscenes. It is one of those games where playing it twice is not even like, oh, I guess it'll be cool, but rather it's playing it twice is one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. I totally want to do that. Actually, I might go a bit beyond because I think this is either... No, this is where I'm going, unfortunately.
The enemy's weak, but don't drop your guard. This won't take long. How good are we? I'm really feeling it. Cheers. Sword follows the power of the Monado. Come on. How's that? Everyone, let's go. Stream edge! Yeah! Rhyme time!
Okay, thunder bullet!
How good are we?
Looks like we don't need my medical skills. Okay, perfect.
Perfect!
Just a little more. Keep it up,
We can
everyone.
definitely do this! We win! Let's not lose our heads though!
Let's keep on going like this, guys.
Well, yeah, you don't even necessarily have to do it as New Game Plus, because, like, it's just one of those things where it'll... It's a bit of... It has expertise for foreshadowing things, so... It's one of those games where it's like, okay, I can play this again, and I'm going to not only have the new challenge of New Game Plus, but, like, I'll see things that I didn't see the first time through. And be like, oh, this game was even better at, you know, the whole gimmicks it was, or the whole things it has. Because, like, changing fate and sort of the inescapable things, ties of destiny. But it's this wonderful, wonderful game with wonderful story, and I'm almost at sort of my self-set time frame for this particular one. Is there any other questions you have before we go? Because this will probably be one of the last fights I'm doing. No problem. Yeah, I like to think of myself as having an eye for critique and design when it comes to games, especially my staple of JRPGs, but you never know. Also, I just realized I've had this off for the longest time, but hello, this is Matt, the person you've been talking to. I'm gonna call it here for now. I'll probably be back on later today. Well, by probably, I mean I'll definitely be back later in the day. So, if you see me on again, feel free to come on by, because I'm gonna start